awesome shit. And now it's time for everyone to know it. I am the most secret agent man. I was trained by my neighbor from Japan. The CIA simply couldn't resist. They hired me while I was taking a piss. All my secrets will now be yours. Through my book available in stores. The CIA will try to claim it's nothing but lies.
Welcome to the Dog Zone 9000, the official podcast of 100 Hot Dog. We are the final, only, and premier comedy website. Go to patreon.com/1900hotdog for daily articles. We will email them right to you, or visit us. You don't even have to pay. We have archives enough. You will never read them all. We are bad at business. I'm Seanbaby from the internet, and my partner is 7-time hunk champion, Bun's assistant, Robert Brockway.
That's true. And here is another Brockway fact. To this day, I hold the record for fastest punch with a knockout at 0.12 seconds and fastest kick with a knockout at 72 miles per hour. You have to use different measurements for punches and kicks because they come from different sides of the human equator, which is what karate masters call a belt.
Our guest is New York Times bestselling author and living TikTok legend, Jason Pargin.
I've not been given any information about what this podcast is going to be. This is extremely rare for me. Usually when I'm invited onto a show, literally no matter what they're talking about, I arrive with a book's worth of notes. Like if Alex Schmidt asked me to be on his show, and he's like, we're going to talk about like those fluffy toilet seat covers that some people used to have in their houses in the 70s. We're going to talk about those. I will come in like knowing the name of the guy who invented those things.
Right. You will have sat down to pee for the last 8 weeks in preparation.
Just to get myself into the right headspace. Here, I have just been told this is the long-awaited Dukes cast.
I know for a fact that I can prove visually, you have an entire book's worth of notes on this within reach, I am sure.
I have never allowed myself to crack open that book. I am so afraid.
Smart. Let's do some plugs before we get started.
Well, this is huge news to the listeners who don't also listen to Big Feats. I don't know what the overlap is like. I assume that it's two totally different audiences who bitterly hate each other.
Despise each other.
But book 5 and the John Dies at the End series is up for pre-order now. It is called There Are No Giant Crabs in This Novel, a novel of giant crabs. It is up for pre-order anywhere you get books in all of the formats. If you want the buy links in one convenient place, you can go to bit.ly/crabs, crabs, crabs. The word crabs 3 times, all lowercase, bit.ly/crabs, crabs, crabs.
It's a really nice URL. And an excellent plug. Brockway, are you legally obligated to plug something?
I'm not. I'm no longer legally obligated to promote my book. However, they did ask me to stop promoting my book, so I would like to take a moment to promote my book. It's called I Will Kill Your Imaginary Friend for $200, and everything in it is true. Just like Frank Dukes is the secret man, every single thing in it is true, even the stuff that's wildly illegal for it to be true. And my publisher knows that, and they released it anyway.
They condone it, and they love it.
Wholeheartedly. They couldn't be happier that I'm saying this to you right now. That's my plug.
That's a great plug. Today, we are entering a world of ninjutsu and lies. We are beginning our death-taunting series on The Secret Man, a book by Frank Dukes, whose true and real life inspired the film Bloodsport, based on a true story. I'm sure you guessed all of this already. And if you do listen to Big Feats, I have read passages of this on that show. Today, we're going to start going through the entire book, The Full Life of Frank Dukes, which he has maintained is completely real for 46 years. He has, to this day, if you talk to Frank Dukes, he'll say, oh yeah, all that stuff is true.
Now, he has had to make that a full-time job for the rest of his life. It is definitely a monkey's paw curls a single digit kind of wish, where he's like, oh, okay, so this is my life from now on, is just defending every single aspect of this book.
I thought initially that he wrote this book and then he sold this book as a film and that became Bloodsport. But then when you read passages from this book, he's referencing his time on the set of Bloodsport. So I know that you're trying to get to the book, but very briefly, how did he go from whatever he was doing to convincing Hollywood to make a movie about this kumite he claimed to have entered? How did he rise to prominence?
It started in 1980. He did an interview with Black Belt Magazine where this guy claims he won a secret martial arts tournament in the Bahamas in 1975. And it's been a while since I read it, but they are kind of like, this is fucking awesome, but like, we don't know. We can't like prove this guy's telling the truth. Then that got turned into a movie because it is an awesome story and an awesome movie. This book was written in 1996, which is 17 years after Bloodsport. No, I'm sorry. 7 years after Bloodsport. 3 years after the UFC, after like basically just plain visual language disproved Bloodsport. So, but yes, every detail of this book is pretty plainly a lie. Most of it's been proven a lie. And then pedantic, like Brockway mentioned, it's been pedantically and desperately cast in doubt by Frank Dukes every chance he got for the past 5 decades. Just some for instances, his Shidoshi is named Senzo Tanaka, and that's not a real title. And that's the bad guy from You Only Live Twice. And so, people are like, you got that from that James Bond novel. And then yet, many years later, someone found some death records for a dude with that real name somewhere near a place where karate happened. And they're like, this is proof Frank Dukes was telling the truth. That's his idea of proof. As Brockway also mentioned, the fastest kick with knockout, that's nonsense, right? No. Frank explained on several different podcasts that the secret monks compared photos taken during kicks and then calculated the miles per hour from those. Western math can't do it, but like, you get it.
From a still image of a kick.
Yeah, and then he took a different picture later. They're like, I took those photos about 0.07 seconds apart. So like, yeah, we could measure that. He got 56 KOs in one tournament, which is obviously stupid beyond reason. That's a tournament with too many people in it by a few billion quadzillion. So Frank made the claim that they like to pick them up from their knockouts, or anytime someone got like medium to above medium conked, that counts as a knockout. I'm not sure. I don't understand his logic here. It seems if you're trying to create a lie about you winning a martial arts tournament, you should use numbers that are plausible. That's my point. I guess my other point is that everything in the book is real. There's a reporter named Frank Parlato. Are you guys familiar with this name?
No.
Okay, so this is a real reporter who he keeps believing Frank Dukes. Like up till like a few years ago, he's been writing articles about how true his kumite victories were. Like if UFC comes up on his website, artvoice.com, he'll be like, UFC, like the kumite that Frank Dukes won 50 years ago. Like that's how he brings it up, just casually. You might know one of his big stories. He was the guy who broke the story of Nixium, that sex cult with the celebrities. He was the publicist, and then he betrayed them to tell everybody about their weird sex cult stuff. And then he took $1 million from them, hid it across 50 shell companies, then got in a lot of trouble for tax and wire fraud. We don't have to get into all the details. Also, all of it's allegedly or whatever. He's a trustworthy source, and he's the last living person who believes Frank Dukes.
Okay, but Frank Dukes is not he is a fighter, right? Like does he do UFC? What is the stuff we have seen him do?
Bloodsport, man.
Yeah, we've seen the movie about his karate. He has done a couple of like Ripley's Believe It or Not type demonstrations. Like he punched through some bulletproof glass in sort of a magic trick karate stunt. But as far as I know, no one has ever seen him fight. He would argue that they have. This Frank Parlato guy claims he has, but nobody credible has seen Frank Dukes ever fight. He's never done it on camera, at least.
I thought at one point he gave the explanation that he doesn't know how to fight to not kill.
Yes, he's tried to use that. He said, okay, I have a quote from him. In a recent from like the last 10 years, he said, most people, when they create a system, they reassemble techniques borrowed from other systems. What he created accesses the frontal cortex of the brain while bypassing the amygdala, that part of the brain that produces hesitation through fear. So he's rewired himself to be a full Gary Busey.
He's got those Neuralink monkey chips in his head.
Yes. And
programmed them all for Bloodsport. Oh shit, that's a good idea.
Yes. But yes, it seems obvious that he could have at any point just had a fight. And then if he didn't win, maybe that'd be proof that he didn't do all the blood sports stuff. But also, he could just do pretty well and people be like, yeah, no, maybe he's past his prime, but he does know how to fight. He's never proven he knows how to fight. Which is funny because in 2017, he co-published an article with this Frank guy I'm talking about that was basically just about how the guy who runs Nexium, Keith Rainier, he couldn't have been a judo champ at age 11 because there would be all this proof lying around. It's basically every common sense thing that every sensible person says about Bloodsport, Frank Dukes says about this guy. Just, I want you to understand that in my research, I found things that the irony like really hurt me. Like I threw out a rib reading that fucking article.
I've been on a podcast before a couple of years ago, I think, where we were covering an interview. Wasn't it an interview that Frank Dukes did on a Ninja podcast?
On the Ninja podcast.
And I remember at the time not understanding anything that was going on or why it was happening. Because like that host wasn't grilling him. The host was clearly, it was very important to him that, and Frank Dukes, if I remember it correctly, he was very critical about how ninjutsu had been corrupted by Hollywood and how it was all what people thought it was completely phony. And then he and the other, the true ninjas that listened to that podcast were trying to preserve the real thing, I think.
Yeah.
Yes. They had a lot of beef with another, I think, podcast, certainly Society of Ninjas. That was that, and that's 80% of all martial arts is we just hate this other kind of martial arts, and they're both fake.
I think that's everybody. Yeah,
it's a world that I don't understand because I do obviously understand this style of storytelling where you might just say, well, it's not storytelling, Jason. It's just called lying. But the Mountain Monsters crew, that's obviously part of what we love about them is they don't break, they use kayfabe. The thing that pro wrestlers used to do where it's like, no, we're staying in character. Because back in the olden days of wrestling, when I was a kid, like if there was a plane crash involving wrestlers, like if the guy that got killed was a heel, then the faces couldn't come to the funeral.
Right. They would drag themselves away so their corpse would be found in a different spot. We don't want to spoil that storyline
because we had to fly on a different plane. Yeah, and so I get that. But with Frank Dukes, for example, I couldn't tell you how he makes a living right now. Like he's not still just making checks. He's not still getting Bloodsport checks, right?
I truly don't know his finances. I know he runs a ninjutsu school. Of traditional martial arts stuff.
Okay, now stop.
That's
tough.
Okay.
No. How? Okay, stop. Now you're saying he teaches, so he does know technique.
Well, yeah. He knows like ninjutsu. He can teach someone how to do ninjutsu, which is very, very different from full contact mixed martial arts.
And you're not allowed to fight any of his students.
Right. Like none of his students, as far as I know, have had professional fights. I might be wrong about that. But like when you go to his website and you see his instructors, they're like adult nerds. Like they're Dungeons and Dragons club. And like nothing wrong with that. But he's selling himself as this lethal real fighter. And he's a martial artist.
There's something wrong with it if he's teaching self-defense that would get you killed if you actually tried to use it. This is the beef I have with all of the guys you cover, where they've got like the pressure point karate that like, well, there's actually a secret spot in the spine that doctors don't know about. And if you hit that, you can incapacitate a man much bigger and stronger and braver than you. And you're just imagining it's like, well, that's fine until somebody actually tries it.
That's literally a Duke's lie. It's the dim mock.
It is. It's the dim mock.
Okay.
Yeah, you could make the argument that a lot of martial arts is fraud, that a lot of self-defense techniques would probably escalate a situation or get you killed or just simply not work. And you should get your money back after you've been murdered.
I mean, there is a scenario in which if you follow Frank Dukes' advice, you're about to get in a fist fight with both of your hands in a pair of white socks.
Well, okay, but see, we keep joking we've made that socks joke half a dozen times on the Big Feats podcast.
Make it a dozen more.
Unless they heard us talk about that ninjutsu interview, because I barely even remember, he was claiming that, or where did that come up, the socks thing? He was claiming that if you were sneaking into a building, what was it?
The most common paint color in hotels across the world is Navajo white. So if you get a pair of Navajo white socks, you can put them on your hands and sneak them around corners at hotels, and they won't be able to see them.
It's, I don't know how I would use that.
They won't be able to see your hands.
They wouldn't, but why? But then I don't have fingers. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's a pretty serious trade-off if I need to like hold.
Yeah, you're in
my
mittens.
nunchucks.
You're in mittens and barefoot in a
Right.
hostile hotel. About to be hostile.
But the only thing on your body that's invisible is your hands. I think this blew our mind at the time. We all agree the socks are insane.
My second favorite lie behind the movie Bloodsport. Some of my favorite lies in the world.
Okay, I'm sorry. I've delayed you getting to the book, but I'm trying to make it clear to the listeners who this maniac is and why he was allowed to write a book. Because I've said over and over again, this should be the best-selling book of all time. This should be like a Harry Potter level success. It's long out of print. It doesn't seem like anybody bought it other than us, all of us. I still don't understand, by the way. None of this. I have 8,000 questions about how
I accounted for this. If you have questions, let's
if I went to Karate Magazine in pre-internet days, I could just claim anything.
Yes.
I could just
almost certainly, yes.
And they would publish it proudly.
The reason I'm fascinated with fake badasses like fight liars is because I've known these guys my whole life. I knew them in grade school. I had a kid who claimed that he was like from the mean streets of Indianapolis and told me how like you better not mess with me because if you grew up in Indianapolis, you had to know how to fight. It was every day.
Of course.
And then when I was in high school, I had a friend. He had a family member who would come by and he claimed to be a Navy SEAL, but his stories were stuff he saw in a movie. Like even as a teenager, we made fun of him behind his back and also to his face.
And you didn't get murdered?
Well, at one point, like he told a friend of mine, he's like, I know 12 ways I could kill you right now with my bare
Sure.
hands. And he said stuff like that all the time. And this was pre-internet. So you could not just go out and report him to like a stolen valor thing. Like people could just say stuff. I don't know if the youths out there, all the 14-year-old kids listening to this podcast, I don't know if they realize that there was a time when you could just say anything and that's just the way it was. So I grew up with like a common type of liar is the fake badass liar. And as I've brought up on the podcast before, you wrote a column about it. The difference is that when they describe the fights they've been in, they think fights look like the stuff you see in a movie.
Right.
Where if you've seen a real fight, and all of us, I assume everybody has, and it's like two like sweaty guys kind of like each trying to get each other into a headlock for 5 minutes, and then one of them just falls down. The last fight I saw was in high school, and one kid, he was smoking a cigarette, and he smoked it the whole time they were fighting. But like he kept taking the cigarette out, and he was like, well, no, they were both just kind of like slapping at each other. They were fighting the way real people fight, and they're just a couple of white trash dudes. But he didn't want to put out the cigarette, and so he had like he would puff on it and then would take it away in his left hand because he didn't want to accidentally burn himself with the cigarette while he was like trying to get the other guy in a headlock, and he's just smoking the whole time. And everybody watching that had to have been like, well, this doesn't look like the movies, but that's because these guys are not trained. Like if they had learned karate, and it's like, no, that's what you see. Like Jackie Chan trained at the Peking Opera School. Like he learned to dance before he learned to fight. What he's doing is like, he could probably still kick your ass, but what he's doing in the movies, that's a dance. That's a choreographed dance. It's props. It's everybody's cooperating. It's timing. If anybody there is actually trying to fight him, they're doing it wrong. You're all cooperating. Everything has to be done just right. One reason why Jean-Claude Van Damme is a bad martial artist is he actually doesn't know how to do that. He accidentally hurts people all the time. That was a reputation he had. So when you can always hear these people when they're telling their stories, whether it's a military story, where it's a street fight story, it's something they saw in a movie. So here, Frank Dukes literally got that turned into a movie because somebody, and I guess like Hollywood, they have no standards. So it's like, yeah, it makes for a good picture. But it's like everybody out there should be saying, well, why couldn't I have done that? Why could me and 5 of my friends have gone to Destination America and said, hey, we have Bigfoot. We're Bigfoot experts. Give us where's our show? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, why this guy? And is it because he's better at lying?
Yes. Unequivocally, yes. He is one of the world's greatest liars, and I will die on that hill. He got Bloodsport. He didn't just get Bloodsport made, okay? That's already like, he got a really good movie made out of his ridiculous lies in Hollywood. They all believed him. He worked with people who should have known better. He not only got it made, he got a freeze frame card at the end of the film with blatantly impossible things on it. All of the facts that Sean read are at the end of Bloodsport.
It's
It's the last. That's how Bloodsport ends. It doesn't end any other way. It ends on a freeze frame of Frank Dukes' greatest and stupidest lies. It's amazing.
I do think we're not giving the past enough credit. I do think that there's a good chance those were put there to fuck with him and to make fun of him. There's in this very book I'm holding, Frank Dukes talks about Jean-Claude Van Damme making fun of him. Like at the Bloodsport rap party, they're like, oh, where's Frank? He's like, oh, he's probably doing some spy stuff. Because they all were making fun of how Frank Dukes is so full of shit. Nobody really bought that this happened. Mm-hmm. And I mean,
they thought the public would. And they did.
Yeah. I think a lot of people knew it was fake, but didn't care. And some people, I'm sure, did. I think there's a lot of delusion that goes along in this kind of in traditional martial arts. Like, it's really satisfying to think I just learned how to kill a man 12 ways with my hands. I'll never know, probably, but like, if it's not true, I'm so stupid, right? Because I just spent a whole class with a bunch of little kids learning how to chop. Like, if I didn't get anything out of that, so I think that we get it. I'm gonna start reading from the foreword. This is Major General Anatoly Pavlovich Kornienko, and he says, the leader of the group, Officer Dukovny, was Frank Dukes, an American military officer with a special branch of the military trying to discover how biological weapon leaks were occurring. Frank Dukes was dubbed the Hunter. He was in the Soviet Union for just a few weeks when our intelligence received information about the exceptional talents of the Hunter and his unique ability to investigate extremely dangerous and complicated matters.
So you can just make up a guy for a forward? God, that changes everything.
I was just about to ask you, do you think this man is real that wrote the
Absolutely
forward?
not, but wonderful.
Okay, and so I realize you're only one sentence into the book, but I have 300 questions I want to ask just very, very quickly. So
go ahead.
My introduction to Frank Dukes was that he was a professional martial artist. That is a thing that exists, of course. Like that's, so I thought that was the claim. Then you start reading passages from the book and he's a spy, but obviously martial arts doesn't help you be a spy. If you're constantly doing karate and espionage, you're doing the espionage way wrong.
Fly and jump kicks.
Yeah, that's actually the one thing they don't want you to do every time you go.
Who is that guy? I'm going to take special note of that guy. He's amazing.
Yes. Yeah. The concept of the famous spy is actually something that in real life you would be the worst spy. Because like, oh yeah, that's obviously Frank Dukes trying to get into our meeting about our doomsday device. Don't let him in.
Yeah, I can't see his hands though.
So it's not him, because Frank Dukes definitely has hands.
Frank Dukes has hands, yes.
So I've seen him punch it 0.12 seconds.
The job he's created for himself is already something that simply doesn't. It's like the job of professional assassin. Do people realize that's not a real job anyone has ever had ever in history? You can't be a full-time freelance assassin, and his job is just general superhuman. He can fight anybody. He's super intelligent. He's got investigative skills. Like he just can do anything.
For any agency. He gets passed around to the Russians. Why not? Hey, Russians, here's our guy.
He's a problem solver. Doesn't he, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm just remembering from all the Dukes cast snippets, doesn't he claim that during the Kumite he was doing spy stuff? Like he was part-time Kumite, part-time spy.
I think, yes, there is some crossover between even Bloodsport. Like he was doing spy stuff during Bloodsport.
Amazing.
Like while he was there.
So they cut that. They cut that from the movie. They were like,
right.
We don't need the spy stuff too. That's too much for the movie.
Yeah, in the movie, he was just like AWOL. He was just some guy they wanted to come back to his army job.
Because he was indispensable.
You can't do a karate tournament on the other side of the world. This is from the prologue. To look upon a spy's life is to look upon the moon.
Do you ever notice this? You ever notice spies a little bit like the moon? Sometimes in dark.
I'll let him explain. One travels alone to this moon landscape, which exerts its invisible yet powerful influence over the tides of political and economic rise and fall, the teeming, unsuspecting sphere below. In its airless landscape, we remain isolated and cut off from one another. A single wrong move, the slightest malfunction, and we are doomed. If a spy does survive, ultimately he is left looking down upon the strange, distant landscape of the world below, wondering why.
So hold on. So I'm a karate master. I'm a ninja. I'm a spy. Also, I'm an astronaut.
An astronaut, but mostly a poet. Jason, you mentioned earlier how these guys make up fights that they saw in movies. Frank Dukes made up his whole life from movies. Like, you'll recognize so many of these sequences from just James Bond movies or ninja movies.
It is to look upon the moon, and I am on the moon, and I am looking back at you. For that is the nature of the spy.
I'm going to read the very first paragraph of the book. We're finally in the book. By Sunday morning, I had been tailing the man I called Fish for a week, documenting his routine and waiting for an ID that would allow me access to the military base at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Confronting Fish at the NCO club there would afford me a measure of protection and lessen the chance that he might panic and try to take me out before I confirmed that he was the maniac I had long searched for. The path of murdered bodies he'd left across the country had a twisted pattern, although one I'd yet to discern. They'd all been John Does, probably foreigners. My guess was that he was killing off his partners in drug deals. So, this introduces the book's main villain, Fish, who is a serial killer, potential drug kingpin.
Is he part of the military? Fish? Is that what that was about?
I think it's revealed later, this is a spoiler, that Fish was an inside man in the CIA. So he's like a rogue agent. He's a Mission Impossible villain, is what Fish is.
He's a serial killing CIA agent. Okay.
Yes.
This scene takes place in the United States, right? He's not tracked Fish to some other country.
This is North Carolina.
So is he working on behalf of the state police, the FBI? What law enforcement agency is employing Frank Dukes to tail this man?
I'm not sure at this point. I think he was a Marine in real life. I think he was a Marine for some amount of time, but like a logistics specialist or a radio specialist or something, and then like was in the reserves and then not. And then from there, he became like a Navy SEAL and then worked for the NSA and the CIA, all of the agencies, and of course the Russians sometimes. But
what he's describing so far would not be something that would fall under the jurisdiction of the CIA. I don't think they legally can do.
Well, legally that's tough. Okay. That's the gray area that the moon falls over.
They call that moonscape in the spy world.
So he talks about how he's going to kill Fish for making him do all this secret karate spy work for, again, we don't know what agency yet. And then he continues. I was confident I was up to the task of killing this man. At 220 pounds, 6 feet 2 inches, my body wasn't buffed up like a bodybuilder's. I was sleek and agile, more like an Olympic swimmer. In fact...
you would not. No, those numbers are not sleek and agile numbers at 6'2", 220.
Yeah, that's my stats, and I'm a little tanky. Most people don't look at me and say, "Hey, that's a swimmer."
That's a beefcake.
yeah. I don't know where he's getting that idea. We all have our self delusions, I guess. In fact, I was a former world champion, a professional martial artist, only a few years past my prime, when I was considered by many the fastest human alive. World renowned for my explosive speed, I could snatch a quarter out of an open palm and substitute a penny without the switch being noticed. When I was 19, the Chinese, my biggest fans, had nicknamed me Fa Ma, after the flying horse that brings both peace and war. A tribute to the poise, endurance, and confidence I exuded in no-holds-barred illegal human cockfights. the martial arts legendary Kumite tournaments. Many years later, in 1987, my martial arts prowess would be the subject for the motion picture Bloodsport. And in April 1993, I became the first person on record to break bulletproof glass with a blow from my bare hand.
The Chinese called you the flying horse of peace and war? They're
his biggest fans.
I don't know a lot about like the Chinese mythology. Do they have a flying horse that brings peace and war? That feels a little He-Man.
Yeah, they might have invented the job for him. Yeah, it also might be He-Man. They called me Fisto. They called me Man-at-Arms.
Even if they did call him that really, I don't know. That feels like one of those things that's not necessarily a compliment. Like, that guy, yeah, he's a real flying horse of peace and war. That guy.
I couldn't understand what they were saying about me, but I was pretty sure.
By the gestures, there was definitely some flapping and like a horse, it looked like a cock, like he was jerking off giant. So I assume that meant horse. Is this all like the actual timeline? Is he starting? So this is post Bloodsport, right? Where as he's trailing fish.
Yeah, what year is he supposed to be trailing fish?
We don't know yet, but this was pre-Bloodsport. I would say this is probably in the early 80s.
So it's just bad writing then that he is looking back with knowledge.
Yes, this is like in Bloodsport. This is a nested flashback.
Okay,
but we haven't got to the main movie part yet. So we started on a nested flashback and a flash forward. So
this is pre-Bloodsport, because otherwise, like, you're one of the most famous people in the world after Bloodsport. You can't. surely the spy stuff ends after Bloodsport, right?
No, absolutely not. No, absolutely.
When you're one of the most, they made a movie about me and I'm still a spy.
I don't want to speak authoritatively on this. This might be happening post Bloodsport, this exact interaction we're having right now. So he talks about Fish. He did 4 tours in Vietnam. He was a Green Beret, a SEAL, and a Marine sniper. He had 23 confirmed kills at close range. Military advisors in Cuba, Angola, Soviet KGB operatives, Spetsnaz,
Not
in
great
Afghanistan.
For a sniper to have 23 kills at close range.
Yeah, he doesn't say how many he got at range, but 23 like up close karate knife murders.
I've missed him so many times. They all just ran right up on me.
Okay, now hold on. He's not talking about himself now. He's talking about Fish.
Yes, his deadly enemy, Fish.
Did he just say the Fish was both a Green Beret and a Navy SEAL?
Well, he called him a sheep dipper, a paramilitary guy who works with all of those people. I'm not sure if he's saying he was all those people, but he was
the world's worst goddamn sniper.
He has to walk right up on you and beat you to death with his rifle.
You know when Fish is after you because you'll see a bullet go a mile wide and then hear a really distant followed by another. Fuck.
God damn it! Shitty rifle. All right. After all that, we learned who Fish was, and then Fish was sitting down for breakfast at a local diner when I entered his mobile home. Earlier in the week, I had tried to drug his Doberman, but the dog was trained to accept food only in the house from Fish. I couldn't use CS1 tear gas because it just makes dogs more aggressive. So I had sent for a specialized gas to arrive from Wiesbaden, Germany. Now,
gassed many a dog in my day. Don't ask me how I know this.
So yes,
constantly gassing
he's
dogs.
About to break into this man's home.
I got a special German dog gasser contact. I have to.
You couldn't use normal dog gas because it just pisses dogs off. But the Germans got it right.
Also, Fish is a serial killing assassin, and it's not treating him well. He makes like $50 a gig. He lives in a mobile home, not one of those flashy Antonio Banderas style world-renowned hitmen.
Fish had committed a series of seemingly unrelated and puzzling crimes that left even the most experienced agents scratching their balls in consternation. And as for me, whether I was in Beirut, Europe, Central America, or the Orient, the case involving this evil man had festered at the back of my mind like an untreated sore. I was a bona fide animal, as they referred to us at CIA SOD, Special Operations Division. Of course, we resented being called animals and referred to ourselves as soldiers of the twilight. So he is now Fama, the flying horse of One Piece. Animal, the hunter, soldier of Twilight. I think that's all of them.
You
so
forgot
far.
the moon.
Oh, right. He's all to look
He's
upon
all-
him is to look upon the moon. Yes, of course.
So he's the moon. I'm gonna start calling CIA agents soldiers of Twilight really sarcastically and see how they like that.
It seems like they love it. That's how they refer to themselves.
We hated being called animals. Please call me soldier of Twilight instead.
While I twirl around and change into my
Here
hero
begins
costume.
my transformation sequence.
What was it that the UFO cowboys called themselves?
Oh, Jesus, I can't remember.
Do you remember that? It was something like this. It was like the Cowboy Sky Watchers or something like that.
Oh, that sounds right. That's really close.
Because they had like a real stripper troop name.
Guardians of the Lonesome Man Sky. Wait, that's Frank Dukes again.
The veal from extraterrestrial, I think is what they call themselves. So Dukes talks for a while about how hard it is to kill a man. Like, you fucking idiots. You don't know what it's like to look a man in the eye while he's telling jokes and shit. It's easy to drop a bomb, but like hand to hand to the death all the time. But see, the thing about Dukes is he kept his integrity and his humanity and his honor.
Why are they telling jokes while he's killing them?
Well, he's just basically how once you get to know a dude like a spy, and they're like a cool pal and you're drinking with them, and then to murder them, it's like, God, it's tough. It's easy.
It's a lot like gassing your favorite dog.
Yeah, it just makes them mad unless you really get the right stuff. So he talks for a long, like, I'm going to skip a few pages. He's talking about his honor and how he maintains integrity. And now I continue in the book. In front of Fish's mobile home, spraying the gas right in the dog's snarling face gave me satisfaction. I'd had some nasty experiences with canines, and besides, this dog belonged to Fish. It staggered about the yard, snorting foam from its nostrils, turned a few circles, and then collapsed by the homeowner's front steps. Breaking into the trailer was easy. Still, I moved slowly in case of booby traps. Inside on the floor lay a single small brown leaf, as if someone had carried it in on the bottom of a shoe. Fish was clever. Someone less experienced than I would take the leaf in order to remove any possible signs of intrusion. If the leaf was missing, Fish would know someone had been there.
I just want to point out that there's a basic rule of storytelling in Hollywood where if you want to ingratiate a character to the audience in the very first scene, have him kill a dog.
Yeah. Have him gas a dog to death and then say, I took satisfaction from that.
Yeah, you have him do like a satisfied little smirk, like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Another one.
And then say audibly, not today, Leaf.
Jason, I'm used to your bait and switch of how you come in dry and then surprise me. I really thought you were talking about a real like writing technique to show how smart Frank Dukes was by having him see something really dumb so the audience can say like, oh, I'm smart too. I would have thought of that leaf thing too. But no, you got me because I wasn't expecting the dog murder. So I understand. Congratulations.
much like Fish isn't expecting or prepared for any but the most fastidious intruders. Like,
Right.
If you're not the prissiest intruder, like you know what? I'm gonna give this place a quick vacuum. I shouldn't have. I can't believe I tracked this in.
This is a real story of my stupid childhood. My mom's second husband was a piece of shit, and he used to leave traps like that all over the place. Like, I'd find weird little pieces of paper like in the center of the stairs, and I'd realize, oh, this is like a trap he would leave. And so me and my brother would grab these pieces of paper and put them in really strange places in the house just to fuck with him, just to like let him know we knew. And I could tell it drew him mad.
What were the conditions of the trap?
We don't understand what the trap was for, Sean.
Okay, so like he didn't want me to go
Explain
upstairs.
trap, Sean. Explain trap.
Say he didn't want me to go upstairs. He would put like a tiny little piece of paper in the center of the staircase. So if anyone walked up the stairs and stepped on that piece of paper, he would know that an intruder had been there. But we figured if we grabbed the piece of paper, like put it in the fridge, then not only would he know that there was an intruder that saw his trap, but they're now like a step ahead of him. This was how like a 10-year-old thinks, I guess.
Classic soldier of Twilight.
I was a soldier of Twilight from a very young age. Fish comes from a long line of piece of shits, is what I'm saying. Okay, so here Frank Dukes is now very delicately going through this murderer's mobile home. while his dog dies. My search grew tenser as the clock ticked away. Just as I reached the limit of what I could do without having to sweat every second and jump at every sound, I found panels built into Fish's roll-top desk. Inside, I found the proof that my pursuit of this haunting and frustrating 18-month riddle had not been wishful thinking or my imagination playing tricks. A Soviet dart gun in the form of a pen. This was the murder weapon that had initially launched Bill Casey's investigation. Along with the gun were a number of pornographic Polaroids with an emphasis on bondage and masochistic scenarios. For almost 2 years, I had been frustrated by having little or nothing to go on in my investigation, and now I suddenly had more conclusive evidence than I knew what to do with.
This man enjoys bondage and penmanship. My God.
My God.
I do feel like some listeners might be confused. If you go watch, what year did the film American Psycho come out? Was that like 2000, something like that?
Yeah, early 2000s.
And there's a scene where, to demonstrate what a psychopath he is, he just casually puts a pornographic VCR tape in on the TV. And for the audience, you're supposed to be like, oh my God, the depravity at play here, that this man is viewing pornography in the middle of the day, just openly. So once upon a time, you could have somebody, if you found like porno magazines in their desk, that was a sign that like, oh, they've got children tied up in the basement. Like, my God. Whereas now, if you found a guy's like laptop that did not have a bunch of porn on it, you would think, man, this guy's such a freak that he keeps his porn on another device. What the hell is this guy up to? There's no porn on this machine.
Even
Jesus
worse,
Christ.
he might not have any porn. What kind of sick fuck?
Sitting there using his imagination? Jesus Christ.
It could be anything. He could be thinking about anything.
I mostly wanted to read that to show you how distracted even the theoretical Frank Dukes was by pornography while he was writing this book.
So he killed 18, Fish killed 17 men with a pen gun?
He killed one guy with a pen gun, and that's what started the case, the investigation.
And then kept that pen gun with his pornography.
Yes, he kept the murder weapon, like
in his trailer.
Yeah.
Sometimes he masturbates to the pornography. Sometimes just the pen gun's enough.
Just the pen. Sometimes he draws a little titty with the pen. So he couldn't sleep that night, and he started to follow Fish. Fish rolled to a halt in front of a ranch-style house. A kid's plastic play pool sat on the front lawn. He disappeared around the side of the house. I waited. Moments later, he came running, holding a bundle in his arms, making a mad dash for his vehicle. I thought I heard the cries of a child coming from within the house. The identity of the bundle struck me. It was a baby. I burned rubber, trying to put myself between Fish and his Ford. I braced myself, but that still didn't prepare me for the impact as I rammed his truck and pinned it against a telephone pole. From there, I pursued Fish on foot. He nearly lost me twice as we hopped fences and rounded street corners, and he finally veered off down a dimly lit street and into some nearby woods. He knew the terrain. I didn't. I proceeded cautiously in the darkness. I froze, then tossed a couple of rocks to see if they would draw fire and give away Fish's position. Nothing. Not even the cries of the baby. I took a few steps forward
still
and froze
has the
again.
Baby?
He couldn't catch a guy carrying a baby.
You're hiding in the woods with the. You didn't think to leave the baby?
I'm sorry, I wasn't picturing the foot chase the whole time with him holding the baby. That becomes like a Raising Arizona style slapstick.
I assumed the baby died in the crash because he rammed the truck, the 1980s or prior truck, rammed it at speed into a telephone pole, carrying a baby, clearly not in a car seat since it had just been kidnapped. I would expect that baby to be some form of juice. But no, the baby survived and he took him with him on the foot chase.
But the baby is remaining so silent that Frank is now worried that he's not going to be able to find the guy in the woods because the baby's making no noise, right? Okay.
The baby's too
babies
well trained.
love it when you take them out to drive them around. That's
We know he hopped at least 2 fences. Frank Duke uses plural fences.
Just chucking the baby over first and then jumping over.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Yeah, you throw the baby, you jump over to catch the baby. Yeah, that's how I would do it too. Okay. I took a few steps forward and froze again. In front of me, a dark shape twisted in the air. The baby, dangling on a string tied to a branch. It took all my willpower not to rush forward. He couldn't have killed the baby. I took a deep breath and made a mad zigzag toward the baby. A black form leaped out of the darkness and shouted, "Bang, y'all dead." Before I recovered, Fish disappeared. I drew my knife from its sheath in my python skin boot, custom made during a stint in Southeast Asia, but again, stopped short. Okay,
All right, stop. Hold on. Fish had time. You're so slow. He's burdened with a baby. And he got such a lead on you, he was able to rig a mountain monster style trap with the baby as bait. He was able to suspend a baby from the woods by a string.
He hung a baby. That's how big a lead he got on Frank Dukes. This Adonis, this swimming-build Adonis.
Why use that opportunity to go bang, you dead, and then run away?
Yes. Another great question. Frank Dukes says, a tripwire? Perhaps he'd hidden a claymore or a mini platter mine, both easily concealed. Flashing lights got me moving again. If the local police found me, Fish would certainly get away. And how long before I found him again? I let Fish go. With a slash of my knife, I cut the cord, hanging the baby, and caught it as it fell. The baby was a doll. Sucker should have been tattooed across my forehead. A moment to regain my composure. Then I sped off. This part might sound familiar here. I heard the police helicopter long before its spotlight lit up the area, and I had time to crawl into a drainage pipe. But I wasn't alone. Ants!
Fish knew he was being tailed.
Yeah.
He ran into a random house, stole one of their dolls that they had there.
Maybe. He might have a real baby, but he brought a decoy baby in case someone tried to ram him with the car and chase him into the woods.
And then led him on a foot chase to lure him with the trap just to say, bang, you dead, and then run away.
Yes.
Are we sure this is like an equal rivalry? This could be one of those like where I'm going back to Mountain Monsters again because like there's parallels between them. They're the same kind of people, but like how in the Mountain Monsters they would say all the terrible things that the rogue team did to them and be like, "That's why we're gonna fucking kill those guys the next time you see them," and then all of the things were just like pranks. Like, are we sure this is This sounds like a friendly rivalry on Fish's part.
He could have killed him, definitely, 7 or 8 different times.
Like, this is just a fun night. Grab a doll, go for a jog, set up a little doll trap. These are pranks.
These are pranks. Almost immediately, they were all over me, and I itched like crazy in the muggy heat. A narrow beam of light jumped around outside the pipe. I hurriedly hid my wallet and knife under the mud and plastered myself. The mud soothed the sting of the ant bites a bit, and if the police found me, I'd claim I was a transient, holed up for the night. Before long, they were gone. Police searches generally weren't very thorough, especially at night. What to do next? Could Fish identify me? I didn't know if he had actually caught a glimpse of my face in the dark. Back at my motel room, I enjoyed a long, hot shower, one of the creature comforts you never take for granted as an operative. Sometimes the job takes you places where the locals have never seen indoor plumbing. Whenever possible, I always traveled with a roll of toilet paper, not to mention a bottle of Louisiana hot sauce. Thank you.
and hence the toilet paper. My own worst a spy is their own worst enemy, they say. Fish didn't even know that was him?
Apparently. But Frank is under the impression that he got away with it.
That he got away with it. He was not identified. Fish was just pulling, a random fake baby snatching prank on somebody? No, somebody he had no idea who it was?
Apparently. Frank is an unreliable narrator in a couple of different ways. He's a fucking idiot, but also making all of this up. So it's hard to say exactly what he wants us to think happened or what he thinks is happening in the story.
Okay, and because he didn't specifically mention retrieving the wallet and the knife, I have to assume he lost them in the mud.
That's a good point. Yeah, he's got no wallet. He's covered in mud. He's back at the hotel. Like, my name's Frank.
Lights. It sounds like Fish kicked your fucking ass. What Fish sounds like.
Yeah, round 1 to Fish. Fine. He'll admit that. Okay.
I just got to pause and admire something here because this may not be clear. One reason why it's such a wonderful feature on the Big Feats podcast when you read random passages from this book is that Frank Dukes does something that even many famous authors cannot do, which is he makes sure there is something in every sentence. Like, there are many mediocre authors who would have been like, I stumbled in, through the hotel room door. I sat for a bit and thought, and then I went to the bathroom. I turned on the hot water and let steam fill the room. Frank Dukes is like, boom, shower. I carry hot sauce with me. I carry toilet paper wherever I go. I got attacked by ants. It's just like, it's a story told by a toddler, but this is a type of writing that's actually not easy. Like, he will not allow himself to write a sentence where nothing happens.
Mhm.
There's no
It's exhausting.
transit. There's no pauses. It's baby. The guy jumps out. I'm hiding in the sewer, burying my wallet and knife, attacked by ants, attacked by stinging ants, by the way. He mentions the ants were biting him. Boom. Now he's in the shower thinking about how he has to take toilet paper and hot sauce everywhere he goes.
Just Soldier of Twilight shower thoughts about my hot sauce and toilet paper needs.
Those two things are not unrelated.
This next chapter is about the erotic allure of Frank Dux and how he was trained for that. But it also shows that he has the heart of a poet. I'm going to read you a passage. It's going to go some places. So he's on a date with a beautiful woman. He's already told her he's a ninja spy. She's seen Bloodsport. She knows who he is. And then she asks if he's killed anyone. And he tells her, "That's not a civilized question," I answered. I did not want to insult her, but I had a hard time with people who ask such questions from idle curiosity or thrill-seeking. The hell did she want? I hated to tell her that she wouldn't find a thrill in coming up against a heckler and cock MP5 or an Uzi or MAC-10. The reality of killing was gruesome. People only took such subjects lightly if they'd never experienced the reality, or maybe if they were brainwashed, mentally deranged, or acting in a bad movie. I have only my own experience to go on, but I must say that even though problems become easier to deal with in lethal fashions, as I grew more experienced, the aftermath never got easier. In fact, the opposite held true. How could anyone know anything about death and the suffering it inflicted upon others, human beings with hearts, and remain only casually interested in killing? Tea time conversation. In the room, the women come and go. Talking of Michelangelo.
You'll see writing a little new wave song there.
That's T.S. Eliot. That's
okay.
That's the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock.
Put it to a beat, man.
We could have done this whole episode about that paragraph. There's so much. For example, the three guns he mentions frequently having to face: an Uzi, a MAC-10, and an HK MP5. Do you know what those three guns have in common? They were the three most common movie prop guns in the 70s and 80s. Those were not common. Like a MAC-10, that was a garbage weapon in the real world. It made for a great action movie gun. For whatever reason, those HK MP5s, they turned up in Die Hard. Every action movie after that had to have those. Before that, every movie had those Israeli Uzis in them. Again, in real life, I don't even know if they're good guns. They look great on screen. There's certain guns, like the Desert Eagle, it's a pistol. It cannot be used in real life. No one has ever been shot with one of those in the real world. In movies, they are everywhere because they look great.
Look fucking rad.
So right away, in that one sentence, when he's like, "You don't know what it's really like. You're asking me what it's like to kill a man. You're asking me to tell you that story, the story that I sold to Hollywood for money."
Right. And he killed Chong Li in Bloodsport, right?
And then I wrote into a book you're reading now, this disgusting, that this supermodel, all she wants to know is who I've murdered. You know, for her, this is just conversation. She doesn't know what it's really like to face down the coolest guns you just saw to face down a group of ninjas jumping off of a skyscraper.
She'll never get it.
The grief as you watch the light go out of every ninja's eyes. Every ninja kill haunts me personally. All 800 ninjas in that fight scene I just came from.
Does she think that it's fun to ramp a train in a dirt bike while something explodes behind you? Does she know what that's? It's not like the movies, honey.
Not at all.
I just like the start of that. She loved me because she knew all about Bloodsport, and then asked if I'd ever killed a man, and I said, "Yeah, in Bloodsport." You remember that one?
Well, speaking of Bloodsport, he continues. Perhaps Bloodsport, the movie made about my martial arts exploits, had aroused her curiosity, or maybe some people mistakenly associated the martial arts with a propensity toward violence. Whatever the case, I wearied of such questions posed by a woman in sidewalk cafes. She flirted with me. No doubt I appeared exotic, and for a little while she might want to toy with danger, only vicariously, of course. When satisfied with her game, she could return to her safe and loaded boyfriend, or she might move on to the elusive search for a bigger, better deal. She flashed a smile in my direction. She wanted a rush.
This gold digging bitch wants a piece of the Dukes.
I love the safe and loaded voice. Like this incel language just comes out of nowhere.
It's just, he fully hates
rich
her.
Boyfriend.
He's had one interaction. It's been mostly complimentary, and he's like, "You goddamn bitch! How dare you want me? How dare you?"
Also, she doesn't really like the true him. She just likes the part of him that does karate and action stuff. But what other aspects of his personality are there? What else has he described himself
She doesn't
doing?
even like the spy stuff.
Hold on a second. Is this not the true him? The Bloodsport stuff is not the true him? I don't know. That sounds too unlikely. Again, that T.S. Eliot poem is sort of about social anxiety. So I think that's what we're looking at here is Frank, like, kind of confessing to having some imposter syndrome or some social anxiety. I'll continue with the date.
It's not imposter syndrome if you're an imposter, though, like by definition.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Like, I think it's an accurate reflection of his state in the world.
My date leaned forward, showing off her cleavage while playfully kissing my brow. I recognized the ploy for what it was. Other pretty faces in my past, accustomed to manipulating men, had done likewise. A lady of seduction, she had all the nuances down pat. Not unlike the textbook examples I had been taught to identify. Painstakingly, at the expense of taxpayers, I'd been instructed to acknowledge that sex is a powerful weapon that cannot be overlooked when examining history, especially if one wishes to delve into my world of subterfuge.
It's amazing. He's about to fuck and he's worried about the taxpayers. He's like, every time I come, it's a waste of taxpayers' money. They've taught me better than this.
You can delete this if this is too politically incorrect for me to say it. But I love his belief that in order to seduce men, that a beautiful woman would have to take many, many classes on all of the subtleties. And that when in reality, it's like, tight shirt.
That'll do it.
She leaned forward and showed me her cleavage and then started to unspool the many, many tricks she learned. It's like, no, it's done. There's the cleavage. That's
all of this again done at taxpayer expense.
She knew all the tricks. She knew the boobs and the showing of the boobs and the cleavage and the titties.
Your tax dollars taught me not to fuck. That's you. You did that.
Money well spent, America. Frank Hughes says, I was a naive 25 when I was unwittingly introduced into the program by Gabrielle Dubois. This is the program of sex education by the NSA. Seduction. She was a leggy French-Canadian blonde. Within just a few weeks of our first meeting, Gabrielle had me dangling from an emotional thread I truly have killed for her. One perfectly romantic evening, during intercourse, I was ready to climax when she whispered in my ear that Gabrielle Dubois was an alias. Her confession of being a contract agent exposed my vulnerability. More impressively, it demonstrated at what length DCI, the Director of Central Intelligence, Casey and Bob Ames, my handlers, were willing to go to ensure I remained their secret. So the woman hired by the agency to teach him how to fuck turned out to be an agent of the agency.
There to teach him not to fuck.
She wasn't an unknowing prostitute they hired.
In the middle of intercourse, she whispered, "You shouldn't have penetrated me. For it is I, fish."
So he's embarrassed because he fell for the agency's sex spy. So then they sent him to actual sex school. That was the decoy sex school.
Just to see if he was stupid enough to fuck.
Yes. No, I'm serious.
That's you fucked. Oh, you did it. Oh, you got it. You lose.
Humbled, I paced the richly appointed safe house that overlooked the American embassy at the Concorde in Paris. My seductress, Gabrielle, as prearranged, dramatically opened the door to a middle-aged Dutch woman. She wore no makeup and was neatly attired in a man's navy blue pinstriped suit. Her long hair was slicked down and pulled back into a bun. Her stiff movements almost led me to believe that her sexual orientation was not heterosexual.
Oh, shit. Almost, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
clearly it couldn't be.
She's a butch Dutch.
I do like the movie moment of like, well, I went to the seduction class and she was so gorgeous and she seduced me. And then she introduced me to the real master of seduction, a Dutch lesbian.
Yeah, she wasn't as hot, but I did fall for her anyway. No, he didn't. He learned from her. This part's good. You're going to like this. She taught me how to convey through body language the unwavering appearance of a warm and sympathetic ear. I also learned what probing questions will elicit and exploit old emotional wounds so that I could become the desired crutch, the crutch to lean on for emotional support. Further aspects of behavior explored in order later to be exploited included a woman's need for a sense of security, a challenge, or her particular rebellious tendencies. More importantly, I was educated in how to bridge those unspoken communication gaps separating nuances of behavior and intimacy. For example, one method for stimulating a sense of intimacy is merely how to find the right varying touch, since consistent pressure communicates a mechanical effort to please. I was taught to arouse a woman's feet, hands, or ears by light kissing, blowing, licking, or gentle biting. Helpful tips included caressing a woman's entire body with a soft sable brush, commonly used to apply face powder. I was encouraged to be spontaneous, to lick strawberry jam off my lover's toes in the dark corner booth of a bistro.
The bistro thing is my favorite of the passages you've done.
I'm glad we got to the sex brush. I mean,
Yes.
we have to discuss the sex brush. Here's the thing. Is it he was not clear if it is designated for sex, because that you can't just use her makeup brush for the sex.
Right.
You gotta. But then if you have it only for the sex, now you have a designated sex brush, and somehow that's weirder.
It's true. You got to make sure they have different color handles or something.
A lot of
my wife would
stuff.
be so pissed if like I misplaced the sex brush and she's like doing her makeup and looked. Oh my god, this has been in my butt. This has been in someone's butt.
That's why we have the label maker, Sean. That's why I got you the label maker.
Labeling the sex brush with a label maker.
You've got to label all of your objects. Ordinary object, sex version of object. I mean,
Yeah, you're
ordinary spatula, sex spatula. You never know.
God, I would have saved myself so much trouble if I'd done that.
Also, I do think that just that single sentence about licking the jam off what flavored jam was it?
Strawberry.
The strawberry jam off the feet of a woman in the corner of a tavern. I feel like we could have done an entire podcast series on that sentence, because the logistics of that is the jam. You ordered it with your meal and you took off her shoe, and then how do you ease your way to, when you put the jam on there, did you get a spoon or do you use like the butter knife from the...
If it's a fancy restaurant, there's a corking fee for the sex jam. Like if you bring your own sex jam from home, it's just a flat $20 fee.
As somebody that has worked in fancy restaurants, if I catch you licking jam off somebody's feet, like that's, I'm just saying like a minimum 30% gratuity, or I'm going full compromat.
I don't even know if I would be able to tell what I was looking at. Like if it was kind of a dimly lit restaurant, and then she's got like her foot maybe across the table, like they're on opposite sides of a small table. He said it was like a corner booth.
It's a booth.
So
they're in a booth.
They're in a booth. She's laying.
The tables don't tend to move very much at a booth. You got to really work those angles.
She's laying back. She's got her leg up. She's taken her shoe off. I hopefully did not wear pantyhose. That would be a mess. And then
ants.
Now the restaurant's got ants. This is how you get ants. Also, a commenter is going to point out that his method is just the dentist method from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Like his emotional manipulation, that the demonstrate value, each of the letters. So
taught me the ancient secrets of foreplay, of kissing like her ears and neck. Yeah, but no man could have figured that out without without millions of dollars in taxpayer money.
Plus, think of like, if this happens early in the meal, you got these sticky ass wet toes for the rest of the meal. You got to walk home with sticky ass wet toes.
Get all the jam off unless you have like alcohol wipes. There's no way you're licking all of the jam off so that it is not a sticky jam foot for the rest of the night and now stuck inside your shoe, which is now a sticky jam shoe. And again, this is what I love about all of this nature of boast, is that when he started, I don't get the sense that he hits the backspace button a lot when writing. Like, I think he started that sentence and was just rattling off sexy things. And he saw what movie was it? Was it 9.5 Weeks where they did the food sex scene?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so he just did the food sex. Like, well, that's the thing people do, right? I'm not saying that Frank Dukes doesn't have sex. I'm just saying that he doesn't have this kind of sex.
I don't think the butter scene happened in the corner booth of a friendly neighborhood bistro, though. Like,
right, but in like a sleazy 80s sex movie, that's the kind of thing you would have happen. It's a kind of impractical thing. Like they're pouring honey on her navel. It's like, well, in real life, you're not gonna.
I think it could look good in a movie because you'd have like the high contrast of the red and like the glistening of the jam. I'm making it sound gross, but like I think if you saw it, it would look okay.
The taxpayers. The taxpayers.
With some taxpayer funding, we could really make this shine.
The taxpayers taught me to lick feet.
Again, I know I've completely stopped the podcast to talk about this point, but his point is that they taught him the jam toe corner booth technique.
Gambit,
so he had to. Like there was an exam, there was like a diagram where they showed him, and then he had to run through it and did it wrong. No, do it again.
While this brutally unamused Dutch butch lesbian just gazed at him licking her feet like, no, pathetic.
Do you think they were private lessons? Or do you think there's like a whole bunch of other guys like in the class that are taking turns sucking off jam in front of each other?
Like she's the sensei. They all
right,
gotta...
everybody pair off with the jar jam.
You gotta get
good at this, bro.
You get a special jam student.
All right.
Okay. Sorry.
Brunhilde made sure I was skilled in preparing concoctions.
Her name was not fucking Brunhilde. Come on.
Okay, you're right. It was a nickname Frank came up with for her.
Okay.
I should have made that clear. I think even he knew that she couldn't be named Brunhilde. She made sure he was skilled in preparing concoctions made from agency-supplied controlled substances, formulations designed to heighten the sexual experience. One can lace a cigarette with a substance that, when combined with alcohol, leaves one not only tipsy, but totally uninhibited and easily seduced. Ironically, the more skilled I became in the treacherous ways of love, the more inhibited I felt towards those women in my life whom I genuinely cared for. No aspect of seduction skills was trivialized. Meticulously, I was instructed on how to give well-placed, non-aggressive, sensitive, yet concentrated kisses.
They taught me how to kiss at government spy school. At government spy camp, we practice kissing each other.
It may sound outlandish, but I believe the lessons enabling me to translate a kiss saved my life.
And how to roofie a cigarette. And strangely, the more women I roofied with cigarettes, the more tenderly I felt about the women in my life that I roofied with cigarettes. But, gently.
Yes. Frank is the best. I know you want to hear some of these erotic adventures, so I'll read some. Just 2 years after my affair with Gabrielle, I found myself captivated by a vibrant, dark-skinned woman in Beirut. She was as outwardly stunning as she appeared passionate. She'd gently remove my clothes and make love to me at the most spontaneous moments and in the most outrageous locations. We had sex in an elevator, at another time in a phone booth in the lobby of a 5-star hotel. One day, excited just looking at her, I used a lighter to trip the sprinkler system in her office. Drenched, her white blouse and skirt became transparent and pressed against her figure, exposing just a garter belt and stockings. I wasted no time ripping her sopping clothes from her body. With each orgasm, she quivered in my arms, unlike the quiet, more subdued lovers I'd grown accustomed to back home.
So he just got himself too worked up. He started talking about practicing kissing at spy school, and he's like, it's time to crank it. But this is the 90s. I don't have any woods porn at hand.
Have you?
have to write my own.
Know where I'm going with this, but have you ever been under the sprinklers in a building where the fire suppression system has gone off? Because it is not the cleanest water.
Right, it's water that's been sitting in rusty pipes for years. Yeah.
He gave this woman dysentery. It's not something you're like, oh, yes, let's erotically make love under this while the fire department comes and digs us out of this grime.
Definitely, like, there's some sort of investigator that had to trace the Legionnaire's disease outbreak back to, like, back to Frank Dukes.
And also did $4 million worth of water damage to that building. Again, this is the kind of thing that in a sleazy 80s sex crime movie, you would have that scene because, it's the wet t-shirt. In fact, I'm sure this came directly from a movie, a Cinemax movie or whatever, because then you can just cut to the next scene and it's like, oh, it's fine again. But obviously in real life, that incident is going on your permanent record, and there's fire investigators and everything else.
Right. Yeah. Try it as a spontaneous moment. Go to your wife's office and set off her fire alarm and see how and then ask if you can lick her feet, if you can lick jam off her feet. See how long that marriage lasts. I mean, that's a good marriage test. It's a stress test for your marriage.
I do love the idea that at 25, age 25, he took this class where he learned that all the stuff he thought sex was like when he was 14 was actually true.
All of it true. Yes.
Because this is all things that if you had never had sex before, you would think this is how it works. And then it's like, no, we're telling you were right the first time.
This next part was never in a movie. There's no famous movie that Frank Dukes could have heard this in. However, this woman never really let me kiss her passionately on the lips. Her standoffish kisses triggered suspicions that she was avoiding intimacy, like the prostitutes about whom Brunhilde had informed me. They, too, were unwilling to kiss during a sexual act. That's famously from the Julia Roberts movie, Pretty Woman. She wouldn't kiss men during her prostitution. Listening to reason, I abandoned my non-kissing love, convinced she possessed ulterior motives. I suspected her of looking for a sucker who would provide her with the means to move to the United States. Months later, while debriefing a contact, I discovered that my ex-girlfriend had been neutralized as a terrorist. She had a penchant. Just neutralized, whatever. Somebody killed her.
Had been blasted off the face of the earth.
Yeah.
That'll teach
somebody probably he knew. Yeah. Hey, Frank, you dating that girl from Beirut? Yeah, dude. She wouldn't kiss me, though. We made love, passionate love everywhere.
Yeah, we bombed her. There was a bombing run just for her.
She was exploded with several rockets.
Here's a sack of her remains.
Maybe she should have kissed better.
My contact provided me with surveillance footage of my ex-girlfriend. I couldn't help feeling strangely jealous, seeing her in the company of another man, whom I believe was CIA Station Chief William Buckley. Footage shot just weeks before Buckley's mysterious disappearance. Yes, he's Eskimo Brothers with CIA Station Chief William Buckley. My date let out a disappointed sigh. He's telling this story to that woman from the cleavage from earlier.
Wait, what? When did that happen? Did I miss
this
that?
whole time? He has been telling this story to that woman. He had so much contempt for.
You don't understand, you stupid bitch. They taught me to lick feet at government feet school.
Killed my girlfriend. Uncle Sam killed my girlfriend.
They had to rocket my girlfriend off the face of this earth. You don't know? You don't understand?
Now, to be clear, when I say the terrorist tried to seduce me, it was not a situation where she used the lure of sex to then trick me into doing something. Yes. We had sex many, many times.
Many times.
Then I broke it off. Then they blew her up with a cruise missile.
Exactly. So, in fact, he doesn't think that him being a spy was related. He thinks she was just trying to get a rich American husband. So she found this 25-year-old kid taking sex classes.
You could say my last ex really blew me off.
And in fact, the reason we knew she was a terrorist because we gotten word that she had destroyed a building with water somehow. She had triggered the fire sprinkler system and destroyed the structure. Clearly.
Yes, she's destroying evidence with the water sprinkler system.
Why else would that have happened?
Guys. Yeah.
I can't believe he was telling his date this the entire time. What a fucking comedic reveal to pull out of this story and to just like have that table 4 hours later with her looking fucking exhausted and him being like, they blew her off the face of the goddamn planet. She was everything to me. William F. Buckley
so good.
Was the last man to have her.
I'm also picturing just cutting back to that candlelit dinner and him saying, ants.
all of it. It's all been. She's just an unreliable listener. They're being like, "Did you say Did you say ants? I'm sorry, I really zoned
He's
out
like-
there. You said you licked ants off of her feet in a bistro?
No, listen. Like I was trying to explain earlier, you can't use regular gas on a dog, you fucking idiot.
That's the Duke's cast, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a good stopping point.
That's well over an hour.
And we're most of the way through the book.
We are barely into chapter 2.
Sean, hold on. Sean said many times, I think it'll take about 3 episodes.
How many chapters are there?
Oh, God. Okay, we got to page 12.
How many pages?
315 pages.
This is
Okay, but I cannot. I'm going to state the obvious. I've never seen another writer who can put out one sentence that has so many implications. Do you have to stop? You would want to stop and ask him to explain it, and he just races to the next sentence. He is licking jam off the toes of a woman that turned out to be a nested flashback within a flashback within a book within Bloodsport.
5-finger death punch, fuck yeah, secret man. Karate, fuck yeah, move shit, punch it, kick. I fucked your dad, what? What? Nothing, damn. Don't force me to